Good morning, guys. So we are going to continue on with our self-portrait drawing that we've been working on. And I just want to give you guys a couple tips to make this a little bit easier and show you what these next few steps are. So at this point, yesterday, we should have finished with our number 1, or our lightest value, and our number 5 is our darkest value. So this should be pretty close to what your image is looking like, right? We don't want to have way too many shapes in there to where it's too confusing. We want to make sure that we have enough shapes so that we could tell what's going on and that we could tell that what the emotion is that you're trying to capture in there, okay? So hopefully you got those values nice and light and nice and dark for those two. So now we're going to look for the 2, 3, and 4, which the value is going to go according with that, okay? Now, a couple tips I could give you guys. One thing that you could do, and this sometimes helps just to see what the overall drawing is going to look like. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a little eye symbol. And when you click on that eye symbol, you could take away the photograph that we put in. So this gives you an idea what the drawing's kind of looking like as we're moving forward. Okay? So that's one thing we could do. Now remember that as we're changing the values of the color, if you click and hold, your lightest value should have been all the way up at the top, and our darkest one, remember, we didn't want to go all the way at the bottom because that's just black. Somewhere in this area should have been your 5. Okay, so if your 1 is here, your 5 is here, we got to think about the 4 would be in this area, 3, and then 2. Now, one nice thing that this does is we can see that it shows these two colors right next to each other. So this is the one that I currently have right now. And this was the one that I was just, just using. So you could see the difference. So that's going to be helpful as we're changing the color. So I'm going to leave it as my 1. And as we're working on these different parts of the face right now, you might have a lot of small shapes that you want to enclose in another color. So what I mean by that is, off to the side, if I just had a few smaller shapes, and let's imagine that this was drawn inside of the face, that I wanted to then have like my 3 around the top of. What you could do is just outline the edge of your face in that area, whatever that would look like. And then when you go to use that paint roller tool, it won't cover over the top of those smaller shapes. So that's going to make it a lot easier as we're doing these 2, 3s, and 4s, okay? Again, we're not making these shapes up. We're taking a look at the different value areas we see in the photograph, okay? And one thing, if you're not aware, is you could zoom in to do all these small details, and that'll make it a lot easier, okay? You could also erase things if you want to slightly change the shape of something, but you don't want to completely erase it out. And remember that we're not doing anything with the background yet. We're just working on the face for today. So hopefully by the end of your drawing for today, every part of your face, neck, hair, shoulders, and hand has a color assigned to it. We don't want to see any empty spaces of the white when we click that eyeball, okay? So when you're finished, make sure that you either take a screenshot or you could save this to your photos from the app and share your photo that way. Any questions, make sure you send me an email, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.